So we are Team Penguin, the Investec Wealth Projection. So it's basically Pivendren, Naik, Ushik, that's me, and Yurisha. And basically we created this projection tool to project your wealth into the future, to improve your spend habits using Azure and Power BI. So our problem statement was there's very little visibility to your spending habits, and how do you know the true cost of your spending? The impact of this could be that you have better spending habits, more understanding of where your funds are going to and how it's affecting your future. And so basically the product shows you long-term benefits of short-term spending patterns and your overall financial well-being. So the idea actually came from the fact where knowledge is power, and we wanted to design a platform to represent the true cost of bad spending habits. So if you spend 10,000 Rand on something that you shouldn't have, how does that affect you in 30 years' time? Whereas you don't usually look down the line to that extent. So the inspiration for this came from Dr. Calculator. I'm not sure if anyone's used it, but I'm just going to show it very, very quick. So I use this quite a lot when I purchased my apartment. So basically you can set your principal amount, interest, and number of years. And basically you can just play around with different things. So if you're looking at a 20-year bond, you can actually see in real time how much of interest you're going to be paying versus the actual amount. You can even add things like extra payments. So if I want to add 100,000 upfront, or how much is this? Yeah, I think that's 100,000. Just how much would that save you in the long run, and how many years does that reduce your bond by? So that's Dr. Calculator, and quite a lot of our influence for this. So basically how it works is that there's a post-transaction script that gets that allows us to get access to some of your transactions. And the integration point scheduler pulls data on a historic basis. Those two merge, and basically we do reporting on the front end. So the app that we built was using Blazor, and the report was done using Power BI. So I'm just going to go through this very, very quick because I'm actually going to show this in the demo. So some of the features is your basic registration and login. The user can create an account, their email, or they could use Facebook to integrate with the platform. And basic features such as you can add your phone number, email, password. Two-factor authentication hasn't been added yet. That's something that we're looking to do in the future. So once you basically register, you'll get this script that you copy to your Investec API platform, and basically this gives us access to your transactions going forward. So this is the report that we're going to demonstrate shortly. This is just the overview. So it'll show you your income, your overall income for a month, your expenses, and how much you're actually pushing to your savings accounts. And so I'm not going to spend too much of time on this because I'm going to actually demonstrate the proper thing. And just some dummy data for where your funds actually lie in your Investec platform. So at the top, you can see there's an overview, there's transaction history, savings projections, and home loan. So your transaction history will basically show you all your transactions that were saved by the Investec platform. So you can select the accounts that you want, and basically it shows you all the transactions you had, and it shows your workload based on the amounts that you've actually spent. And so this is the savings projections. So based on your different spend types, you can actually project that initial cost into 30 years. The home loan projection will give you an estimate for, say, if your home cost you 2 million, and how much of interest you're actually going to be paying for, how much of the funds are actually going to be paying down your bond, and the additional amounts will actually be, so if you spend 1,000 Rand on fast food, how much will that reduce to your home loan in the long run? And then we actually have an invest tab also. So this will show you tickers of, currently it's global stocks, and the growth projection of what, so some of the funds like Tesla grew 127%. So if you saved your 24,000 into Tesla 100 days ago, at the dips and peaks, at the maximum dips and peaks, you can basically you would have basically had 30,000 now instead of 24,000. Yeah, we can actually head into the demo. So the demo, the app, as I mentioned, was built in Blazor with the registration and account functionality. And this is the script that you copy in. And going to the report. So starting at the overview, as I mentioned, these are all interactable. So you can look at costs in your different accounts and the current balances, your income, expenses, and savings, and basically just a mapping of all your costs. Then if you go to the transaction history, you can see how funds have been moving across your accounts. So between your prime linked deposit or your prime saver or things like that. And basically these are all of your transactions. There's a little word cloud here. So if I click on private bank account, it'll give me more information on where I actually spend my funds. You can see that quite a bit of it are transfers and deposits. Some of it will be fast food. And so if I go down here, select fast food, you'll see that all the different fast food pops up. So if I select one of these, it should filter on the transaction that I have. And the different spend types. So we can categorize either good or bad spending. And basically we want to fit this with the machine learning models in the end. So Power BI has actually released quite a bit of machine learning and AI features in their March-April release. So we're actually going to add quite a bit of that going forward. Savings projections. So based on your transaction history and the categories that you had. So for example, if you select fast food, this is based off one initial deposit. So if you look at this for the tax-free investment, say your fast food for the previous period was 1,300, and at a rate of 3.6%, in 30 years, that's actually going to be around 4,000. So it's just an indicator to give you an understanding of where your bad spending goes to and how much it costs you in the long run. And so possible return on investment based on a single deposit. So basically, if you had to invest the funds that you got your income, if you had to invest that into this account with the 3.6% in 30 years time, you'll have 118,000 Rand. So you can select different percentages to understand how that will grow. So what we would like to do is these prime link deposit, prime saver, and tax-free investments, we would actually like to get the interest rate on the day. Currently, I'm not sure, I don't think that's available. But yeah, this will just give you an understanding of how to use your money better in the long run. Then if you look at home loan projection, as I mentioned, so for example, if your home costs 2 million Rand, the average payment based on an interest rate of 7% will be 13,000. Your interest will be 2.9 million or 2.8 million, and your total payment will be around 5 million. which is quite a lot. And you have your little breakdown here. So we haven't added this in, but basically we would actually like to add, so if you spend 1,300 on fast food, if you click on fast food, it should actually show you an estimate of how many years you're going to be saving in the long run, how much of interest you'll be saving, and yeah, just to give you better insight as to how to spend your money. Then we added another tab, as I mentioned before, Invest. So currently this is looking at the global tickers. We're still going to add South African tickers. So Investec, Standard Bank, Sasol, to show the growth peaks and how much you can actually save in the long run. Well, this is based on the past 100 days. So if you, as I mentioned before, saved this 24,000, if you save 24,000 into Sasol, you would actually have 30,000 at the moment. If you save that into Microsoft, that would be, yeah, that would be 5,000. That doesn't look right. No, that doesn't look right. Yeah, I'll have to look at that. But it'll basically give you an indication of if you saved in different areas, how would that actually look in the long run? And coming soon, okay. Just head back to the presentation. Okay, challenges. I blocked myself out quite a few times. Ben helped me quite a bit with that. So the issue was that I was using an old key while trying to update, refresh the rest of my data. So that basically blocked me out. Demo data, that will be really great to have for testing out some of our accounts or transactions, just to get a whole bunch of different data into different Investec portfolios and see that in a way that you can actually build platforms from there. Yeah, and interest rates currently not available in an API kind of format where we can pull them on a regular basis. Next steps, ML and AI to detect good spending habits. So basically, if you would like to learn from your past behavior after you start tagging things, it can learn that if I'm marking Nando's as bad behavior, then it'll start tagging KFC or McDonald's. And also, you can start tracking your, so instead of putting a hard limit and saying Johannesburg is allowed for transactions, you can identify that, okay, this guy is moving closer to Durban in this day, so naturally start allowing transactions in Durban. Then the OpenAPI background sync, so merging of transactions needs to be completed. A Facebook Messenger bot, so notifications. It's kind of like a little Tamagotchi to show you a little happy face, a sad face whenever you make a transaction. And yeah, security. That's about it. So this is the team, if anyone would like to get in touch. And that's it.
That's really epic. We're like a whole platform going there. It's awesome. How long did it take you guys to build all of that?
I'd say around a week. A week of after our time.
Okay. I was going to ask.
I'm curious, you said it was built in Blazor.
Yes. I think Pivendren used a template for the app.
What is, so Blazor is a, how do you spell that? I Googled it and only found stuff about guns.
Okay. Let me see.
Yeah, he just held guns up to people's heads, other developers, and they made it work.
I was trying to play around with it now. I need to sign into Power BI though. Is that correct?
Yes, so that's actually a shortcoming that we saw from the last demo, because Power BI currently you need to be within the same organization, but most of this can be transferred to another reporting app. I'm actually not sure when Power BI is going to fix that. I've seen a lot of issues with that.
Have you guys, can you walk us through why did you guys choose the whole Power BI rather than say Tableau or something like that? Is there a specific reason?
The main reason is because I have experience in it.
Okay, yeah. Cool.
Where do you use it? Like,
I use it for work a bit.
okay, what kind of things do you do with it at work?
We do BI for mining data.
Okay.
So we get edge sensor data and we basically make reports for clients.
Okay. Cool.
I really love the whole psychological nudging that you guys got there with like the word cloud and that sort of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that you can do to help with that, a lot of because as you say, that wealth nudging sort of thing, which is very cool. So I think that's something there. It's like 24/7, but just smarter essentially. So very cool.
Yeah, I think the loss aversion, like using loss aversion as a tactic, pretty smart. Like showing people what they could have had if they'd done different things.
Yeah.
That's how you just have like so much education around, cool, you could have done lots of things with your money.
Good.
Yeah, and I think one of the main things that I mentioned is that you see the true cost of something. So how much it will cost you, your future self. I mean, it's great to worry about now and leave the future to a future self. But I mean, in the end, it could be depriving you of something if you're working towards your home or whatever else it is. And for the home projection, it's not just money that it costs you, it's time. So 36 months, if you can bring that down to 30 months, that's 6 months of payments that you don't have to have.
Yeah. Yeah, I figured out in like months. How long are car loans? Well, anyway, I figured out in the last like 4 months to go that I could actually just pay my car loan in one go, which sounds obvious in retrospect, but at the time I was like, oh.
$2 million for a house. We all need to move to Joburg.
Not a house, an apartment, a 1-bedroom apartment. So I'm not sure if you guys have used Dr. Calculator before, but I really love this, and I think it might help anyone who's looking at homes.
Cool. That's always great to learn new tools. What was kind of the most fun part for you? Or what did you learn the most while doing this?
The most fun part was actually getting all of my information together also. So at some stage I started to narrow down that I eat quite a lot of takeout, and that's actually not the best. So I didn't realize it, but I think we used to buy takeout for 4 or 5 days out of the week. And actually just getting the little word cloud up and running, and you can see where your costs are coming from. It's interesting. So I alternated my behavior on this also.
Yeah, visibility is massive.
Yeah, just being able to see things, see where it's going and how it's affecting you. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, well, because I also like the whole integration of using a bot. So it is actually very clever. So whenever the transaction gets it, so that's actually very cool too.
Yeah, so it's done really well on Card Shark, and also so something similar to that. And basically the little Tamagotchi also helps with the behavior. So if you make, so maybe it doesn't give you a hard limit because sometimes you do need to make those transactions, but a little happy face, a little sad face, a little heart showing your growth. If you put money into your savings account and the heart falls up, things like that.
Yeah, definitely.
So Ushik, I've tried to like set it up on my side by logging into your app, but now I seem to have gotten stuck on this having to sign into Power BI. Is there a workaround for that, or is that
I actually
an
don't
issue?
think there's a workaround for that at the moment. But
Okay,
what
so-
you can do, if you do have the Power BI desktop at the moment, so I've shared the desktop file to the repo. You can basically
Okay.
download that, put in your secret and key, and basically
Okay.
you'll be able to do the same with your. You'll be able to see all the reports.
Okay, great, because I'd like to play around with them.
Hmm.
Cool. Any other questions from the floor? No. Cool. Thanks, guys. We're going to wrap this up and put it on our blog. So both of the demos. So hopefully that'll also just get some interest from the rest of the community. I really appreciate everyone. I know it's a small group tonight, but just showing up and keeping this thing going. I do hope that things will be getting a bit more interesting now that we are kind of talking to Investec about what the setup will be for this year. I think that conversation is going round and round though. So unless anyone has further questions, I think you all know pretty much the status is like kind of has been on hold, but we're going to try and get a better setup this year to unlock some stuff. And then Adam, I hope we'll see you next month maybe for demo.
Sure.
I see Vincent Chegwin on the call as well. Hopefully he's still listening. Hello.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Long time.
Sorry, not Vince from, we got two Vinces. So I'm talking to Vince from Intellect, Chegwin. Are you guys still doing something at Intellect? Because I know you were like proposing it internally.
Yeah, look, I talked to the guys, but they haven't gotten back to me yet. So I don't know. I'm not so sure they're keen.
Okay, cool. Do you know if Intellect has an Investec account?
Yeah, they do.
Okay, cool. So it's just like capacity thing. All right. So yeah, Adam, we'll see you hopefully next month. And one other lucky participant. Hopefully a business as well. I'm not promising anything, but I really like to get the businesses in the room talking about what they're doing. It was really cool having that aspect as well. Just seeing, because they're actually, the most useful stuff commercially right now is actually on a business account and rolling out cards to employees, I think. Alrighty. Have a good evening, guys.
Well,
Thanks for organizing. Ciao, ciao.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cool. Cheers.